All right, my brothers and sisters, hello. My name is Sheriff Dickles, and this is Bronze to Grandmaster, the Cheese Edition. So, similar to Vibe's Bronze to Grandmaster series, I'm going to be showing you what it takes to be proficient enough to hit the top. However, in this guide, we're only going to be doing cheeses. I am a 5700 MMR player, I specialize in playing like a douche, and I idolize players like Mio Micah, No Regret, and Haas, and I like making games weird. If this is something that interests you, I urge you to please follow along with the series, and hopefully you can climb your way to the top of the ladder too. In today's episode, we're just going to be going over the basics of hotkeys, control groups, everything, all of our buttons that we need to set up before we even start playing. So let's just dive right into it, shall we? So first, let's go to our options, and first we're going to talk about graphics, okay? So our graphics settings, this is kind of a personal preference. Most players will play on lower or medium, just because it's easier to see invisible units, like Observers, Dark Templar. It's also easier, there's less distractions, you can just focus on the game a lot more. Makes it easier in that sense. But if you want to play on Extreme, there's absolutely no reason you can't, by all means. Mouse, okay, so I play on an ultra-wide monitor. StarCraft 2 is not supported by ultra-wide. It's annoying, but this is the only reason that, I play in window mode, confined mouse cursor. If you play on a full-screen monitor that's not 21:9, this shouldn't make a difference. So, yeah. Scrolling, mouse speed, fine. Go into a custom game. Find something that feels good for you, okay? I don't want you scrolling way too slow, but I also don't want it to be too fast that every time you move your mini-map at all, you're flying by whatever you need to be looking at. Gameplay. This is where things need to be changed, okay? Enable simple command card, we can get rid of that. Select all larva, make sure that's checked. Show alerts, we're gonna check that. This is not on by default, but this is the absolute pinnacle, the most important thing we need to be turning on. Enable enemy unit selection. This allows us to do two things. One, it allows us to click on our enemies' structures and see what they are. And two, it allows us to click on our enemies' units and check their upgrades. By default, it's turned off, and I have no freaking clue why, but it's very, very important. So let's make sure we have that turned on. Experience points, they mean absolutely nothing in StarCraft, but I like having them on because it just affirms a kill if you aren't sure. Let's say I'll put you in a situation. You have 4 lings and you're attacking a supply depot. It's on fire. It has like 5 health left, and then that last ling dies before you kill it. By the time the fog of war takes over, you still be able to see those experience points if it died. So it's just, you don't have to have it on, but it's something that I like. Show unit life bars. I like having this on always. It really makes things easier. You can always see your unit's life bars. I don't like having it turned off. Some people do. I don't get it why though. Show fire help always. This is important. So this is really good for Ravagers, okay? So Ravager Corrosive Bile can hit air units. However, without it turned on, it's very difficult to figure out where that bile is going to land. With it turned on, if we're able to hit an air unit with our bile, we'll get a little circle like, it's just a little white circle, and that tells us that, hey, if you shoot this bile, it will hit. Cool. Moving on. Colors, player's choice, whatever you feel like. Social, doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Hotkeys, here's where we're getting into it. So, Zerg, you have 2 real profiles, okay? A lot of people use standard, a lot of people use grid. It doesn't matter whichever one you prefer. Honestly, this is fine, this is fine. It does not matter what profile you use as long as you're comfortable with it, okay? Usually, I use standard, and I have a couple extra hotkeys and a little weird things that I do. Most people will customize whatever they use, be it grid or standard, a little bit to their likings. The only thing I actually change in all of this is I don't like hitting M for link speed, so I use S. I used to have, when Infested Terran were still a thing, I didn't like using T, so I changed it, but Infested Terran aren't a thing anymore, so that's the only thing I change in here. Now let's go to global. This is where we need to add a few things, okay? So while I don't expect you guys to be using camera hotkey locations or anything advanced yet, I want to set us all up for success. I want to have all of our hotkeys done so that when we do start to climb up and get higher, that we're already comfortable using them, or we already have them set up and we can get comfortable using them. So, camera hotkeys. While we aren't going to be using them anytime soon, we're going to set them up now for when we are. Honestly, I only use 4. You can use up to 8 if you want to use all 8, by all means, but at least we want to use 4. So, What we want to do is create location. I don't know why I actually have it on control. I like using shift. So shift F1, shift F2, shift F3, shift F4. By default, they're 5, 6, 7, 8, I believe. I have small hands. I can't hit those buttons. So I changed them to F1, 2, 3, 4. This will get rid of our idle worker and our select all army hotkey. And trust me, that's going to be okay. I don't use the select idle worker hotkey. If you want to, you can rebind it to something else. It doesn't matter. But I don't bother using it. And eventually, some people still use it, but you don't have to. And we're not going to have a select all army hotkey. We do not need it. I want to break the habit before it gets hard to break the habit. If we absolutely need to, balls to the wall, we need to do something, we can still click on select all army, but I don't even want you to be comfortable using F2. We're getting rid of it. So create location 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come down here to jump location 1, 2, 3, 4. That means when we hit shift F1, 2, 3, 4 to create them, afterwards all we have to hit is F1, 2, 3, 4 and we jump to those locations. Whew, a lot of talking there. Don't worry about it. Control groups we don't need to worry about. It's all by default. Replay, unit management. Here's where we're going to come in, okay? Do need to change a couple things. I don't like having my base camera on backspace. I like having it on spacebar. Where is that? That's in camera control, is it not? Where is it? Base camera. Okay, so scroll up, sorry for a second. Back to camera. Base camera, by default, it's on backspace. I don't like that. Change it to spacebar, it just makes things a lot easier. Until we get used to using control groups, all we have to do is hit space and it'll bounce between all of our hatcheries. By default, space is on jump to last alert, and it's really not that useful of a command because let's say, your lings are being attacked by Marines. So you go and hit space to jump to that location where your lings are being attacked, but at that exact moment your +1 melee finishes, it's going to jump to the Evo chamber. It just doesn't, I don't know, it's not for me. So after that, what we need to do, here we go. Choose ability or AI target. Now, I'm going to put another video, I'll edit it in, on how to add more. It's not against the terms of service. It's not cheating. It's not anything dirty. It's just to add more buttons for this. We just need to edit a text file. It's as simple as that. It's just we don't have the capabilities in the StarCraft client itself to do so. But what this is rapid fire. So when I hold down the C, Z, H, S, R, D, T, X, A, or E key, it will automatically spam that key at an inhumanly possible rate. So what this is really important for is like corrosive bile, creep spread. Instead of me having to spread 5 creep tumors by going C click, C click, C click, C click, C click, I can hold down C and just move my mouse and all 5 of them will just jump. So this is really, really important. Outside of that, we're pretty good. If you want to do anything else, by all means, you're more than welcome to, but this is what I recommend. All right, so here we are. So by default, it's going to be in C, users, your user, documents, StarCraft 2. Then we have to find the folder that says accounts. And unfortunately, they're all numbered. So if you're like me and you have multiple accounts, we have to kind of go through and dig to find out which one it is. But if we only have one account, then it doesn't matter. So this is the new account that I have. So what we're looking for is this right here. So I'll drag it over here. When we click on that, our active hotkey setup there, it's going to open up in a Word document, and this is where we see what I said: target, choose, equal, left mouse button, C. Now if we look, there is no space, even though it might look like it here, between the comma and the letter. So all we have to do is put another comma and then add as many as we want. There is no limit that I'm aware of. So what do we realistically need for Zerg? Not that many, but if we're talking things that I like, if I also play a lot of Protoss, so I like to have Z for Zealot. We have to put them in capitals, sorry. Z for Zealot, H for Adept, as whatever you want, right? So this is just an important tool. So let's jump back right into the game, and I'll explain what the hotkeys, or what our control groups... Holy shit. Clearly I'm not Vibe. I'm not someone who's done this a lot. I apologize. I'm tripping over my own words here. But we're going to jump into a custom game, and I'll just show you what all of our new hotkey setups do and what they look like. Alright, so we're just jumping into a custom game here. I just want to show you what rapid fire really looks like and what it does for us, okay? So, this is how we would normally spread creep without rapid fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's just that it's slow, okay? Now, watch when we have rapid fire enabled. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 creep trimmers here. All I have to do is hold the C key and move my mouse. Unacceptable command. Ta-da! Much, much faster. Now, let's take a look at what it does for Ravagers. This is how we would normally fire Corrosive Bile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Even if we click it, like... I'll take some of these. I'm going to click it as fast as I can. It's still kind of slow. Now, it takes 3 Ravager Biles to kill a Liberator, and it takes 3 Ravager Biles to kill a Warp Prism, to kill a Siege Tank. So, what happens is if we're not super quick about it, what'll happen is we go 1, 2, 3. And in that time, it'll get hit by 2, unsiege, and be able to get away and dodge the 3rd, so it won't die. Now, let's see what happens when we have rapid fire turned on. It spams out at an inhumanly fast rate. This is incredibly important for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the last thing I want to show you is the flyer help. So when we come over here, again, Corrosive Bile can hit air units. But we really want to know where it's going to land. Now, if we're targeting ground units, we don't get that. We do have to take our best shot, okay? It's not super difficult to aim, but we do have to aim it. Air units is a bit difficult, but we have this thing called Flyer Helper, which, if you can see how there's 2 white circles there? If I move it, we're not going to hit anything. But those 2 white circles tell me that it's going to hit both of those overlords. Easy done. All right. That is it for setup. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions about my personal setup, or if you want to use something else, anything at all, just let me know in the comments below. I will get to them all as soon as I can. Thank you very much, and hopefully we enjoy the series. Take care.